Welcome back to the GM Perspective. I'm your host, Preston Hobson, and today I'm joined by
co-host Shane,
Casey Ponsoll,
Nick Lombardo,
Jaymon Mason,
Nate Myers.
And this is going to be the third part of our General McLean alumni series for boys basketball. And while these guys didn't really play together, we're going to kind of just talk about, GM basketball in general.
Yeah, it's been a long day, and I'm really appreciative that all of these great guys have come out to really just talk to the younger people, and just because not everybody knows the story about all the players, they just see them play. So,
yeah, and we apologize for making you guys wait so long. It's been it's been a little bit.
We had a different mind of how today was gonna go, but we coached.
Yeah,
fine. But
if you kind of just want to go around, you can just introduce yourself.
Start around
when you played or stuff like that.
Yeah, so Casey Ponsoll, I'm kind of the old guy in this group. I graduated in 2000, so I played, from 98 to 2000, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade on some really good teams with some really good guys. I played for Coach Shulz's dad, the original Coach Shulz, if you will. So that's my story.
Oh.
I graduated in 2010. So I was a freshman when we had the state championship team, and then played rest through there, and then so I had Brian Shulz as he was my coach first year of his JV, and then I also had Andy for he was our head coach, and then had Brian as JV coach his first year.
You said you were a freshman for the
state championship.
So he was part of the state championship too.
I was on the ninth grade team.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
Did you get who was your coach for ninth grade?
Coach Banks.
Oh,
still.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
Wow.
My coach too.
It's really.
Oh yeah.
Ninth grade.
I love that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I graduated in 2013. Saw a lot of guys before me. Always pictured myself to do that, like Bobby and Astrinos, the Ponzolls, the Kolkas. So I always wanted to be like them, watching them growing up. Always went to the games. But yeah.
Yeah, my name's Nate. I graduated 2016. So Jaymon was definitely somebody that I definitely looked up to. Quinn Thompson. So it's cool you kind of see the generation before. He has people he looks up to. I'm sure Nick was looking up to Ponsoll, so kind of follows. But I graduated in 2016, and I now teach at the middle school, and I coach the middle school 8th grade team. So I love
great.
Coming back and being around you guys, helping out.
The big part of the past two podcasts was the generations before and after us. I think it's cool that we have 2016 generation to 2000 generation. Obviously, we watched him play a little bit because we were alive. We weren't alive yet. I keep saying that. I don't mean it as a shot. Right. I've said it 3 times. I'm sorry. But I think that's just why we want both of you on here, because me and him were born 08.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to just really hear what your guys have to say about what times were back then, and then not back then. we have you guys, and I think that's great because you looked up to them, you looked up to him, and I just really care about what that looked for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I kind of want to go into, maybe we could just go around and you could talk about just your experience at GM, and I'm not 100% sure what accomplishments you guys had. So I don't know about if there was any district champions won or anything like that.
I know, Jaymon, you guys went far.
Yeah.
Menno had a lot of good things to say about that too.
Yeah, we won District 10 my junior and senior year.
District 10 too.
We went undefeated my junior year, actually.
Oh wow.
We lost in the state quarterfinals. But yeah, it was a great experience. I always tell people I would do anything to come play again, come to GM, go through the whole experience again. Some of the best memories I had in my whole life. So it was, like I said, some of the best times I ever had.
Yeah, we were not arguing, but Menno was talking about how great you guys were and how great you were and everybody. And me and Preston, we know of you guys, but it's just really a great feeling to be in the same room and actually get able to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I think, everyone kind of just hears about, the past, especially being as a basketball player. I always wonder how maybe just how much it's changed over all these years, and I think it's really cool to be able to get on here and hear your guys' experiences. I want to ask you, what was the D10 games like your junior and senior year? Like how? Because I know what a big problem nowadays is the fact that we never really have a crowd. I feel like just not a lot of people come to sporting events like that anymore, especially high school, unless you're like a bigger school like McDowell or Erie. So how were those games for you?
They were crazy. I remember junior year we played at Gannon. We played Warren. Warren was really good that year. We played them twice, obviously, that year. Very close games. Again, we played them a third time. We again pulled out another close one against them. Against senior year, we played Girard. Never really lost to Girard before, except my senior year, we lost to Girard twice that year. So it kind of hurt. So I was kind of glad we got to play them again. And actually was at Edinburgh. But the experienced crowd, can't even explain it.
Yeah.
Like Bobby and I were talking about, it was sold out, standing room only. You just look up, there's no empty seats. It's both student sections going crazy. But yeah, it was, like I said, you don't really feel it when you're out there. Obviously you feel the crowd, but you don't really realize how many people are really there while you're playing. But it was a great experience though.
Yeah, I mean, for all you guys, I mean, for me, we've never really experienced like a massive crowd, but I'm sure all of you guys have. How do you deal with situations like that? I mean, are you like locked in? Like, do you even really notice that like all these people are around you, like cheering you on, heckling?
Coach Miles, why don't you start with that one?
Let me think. When you talk about it, I think of, we were just talking to Coach Shulz about it. My senior year, we played at McDowell, and they had just like done this huge renovation to their gym and promoted it and pushed it, and it was like their home opener. And McDowell's gym's pretty big, but it was just like sold out. And I think before the game, it's definitely something that like among each other you kind of talk about, and we build each other up with the excitement. But when you're out there, like Jaymon said, you kind of just focus on your teammates and focus on what you need to do, and you don't realize like it's impacting you in the game. But I would say for the most part, you're really just trying to focus on your teammates and what you got to do. But it's fun, especially before the game, and then after, like after, then you kind of look around and realize, especially when it's on the road, like that's the best feeling.
How do you think? I feel like the way that the gyms were, 2016 are completely different than 2000s. Like, what was your experience with all that?
So for me, and this was back before they rearranged the regions. They had the county league, and you built up all those rivalries. All the teams and the kids you played growing up in middle school, 5th through 8th grade, you saw them twice a year. In high school as well, and you built those rivalries and kind of that hate for certain programs. Back when I was playing, Harbor Creek was a rival, Northeast was a rival, Girard was a rival. So even just those regular season games were just electric. For me, in the playoff games were even another level, at Edinburgh, at Macomb. But for me, like Coach Myers was talking, you get kind of the butterflies a little bit before game, a big game, a playoff game. But once that ball is tipped up, I mean, you don't even think about it. Me personally, I would kind of feed off of that energy, and I feel like I would play better, play at another level, at least have more energy, especially on the road. It was like your guys versus everybody, so you feed off that energy, and for me, I thought it made me play better. I thought our teams played better when it was kind of like, us against them, so that was my experience with all that.
That's great.
Yeah, I would definitely say it helped me lock in when you had the crowd. And we had some of my best friends were our super fans, so they would go to every game, home game, away game.
That's awesome.
So we always had
That's
that constant support. I mean, they were showing up with like, other teams' mascot. Like I remember at Harbor Creek, they have like a husky little stuffed animal like tossing around, But overall, yeah, it was. Especially when we got into Edinburgh University playing in playoff games, you really just lock in. You don't hear anything other than Coach Shulz screaming at you for not trying or missing something here and there. But overall, yeah, it was when it was time to lock in, before the game, it was great. We had Chad Kolka was our hype man. He was probably one of the best hype men in General McLean history. And then, you get into the game just strictly focused on winning, and that was what we did.
What was your kind of like a comp? Like, did you go what was District 10 or championships? Maybe make a state playoff run? Because I'm not really sure. What was your team?
I started out in 9th grade. We won our 9th grade tournament. So we were the best team in the county then. Sophomore year, that was the year after the state championship team.
Mm-hmm.
We had a very good. They had a lot of. We had a lot of returning players. We lost in the West. We won the District 10 championship that year, and then we went to the Western Finals and lost to a really good. I think it was Steelton High Spire. Lost to them, and then the next year, my junior year, we went on a big run. We kind of had a slow start, then got really hot. But lost in the D10 championship. And then my senior year kind of went through some bumps. There was injuries, and then our starting point guard, we just came out of like our best win of the season, beating Girard, and I think our point guard, he had a seizure. So it kind of from there it kind of tailed off.
Wow.
Didn't end the way we wanted to at all because we were just heating up at that point. But overall, I mean, it was a good stretch for sure.
There's something I'm really curious about. I mean, we have obviously the players that played a little while ago and then newer players now. Today in our league, I was just really wondering, back when you guys were playing, how many of the kids were in between legs dunking, windmill dunks? What was the game
what was
like?
the
'Cause I don't see a lot of like dunking anymore these days.
No, I look at it. Because sometimes I go down the rabbit hole of looking at old videos of General McLean basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's just so much more like routine, physical, like just everyone's running around. Was there flashiness? I shouldn't say back in the day, but back when you guys played.
Did you get dunked on at all?
So when I played, I mean, we were kind of known for the smaller, grittier defensive team. So we didn't really have guys who were playing above the rim. We'd play teams occasionally that they had guys that were dunking, but I can't remember anybody being dunked on. But yeah, I mean, back like in my day, I mean, there was guys in classes maybe above or below that could dunk, but there was very few dunks in games. And if they weren't flashy. They certainly weren't, between the leg dunks. Our teams were built on defense and just gritty hustle, diving on the floors, just trying to be tougher.
And that's what won the games. Like that's still today what wins the games. Like you don't need to be big and tall, so that's great.
Yeah.
I'm also I was looking on here and I didn't know you were a 1,000-point scorer. Do you think that that grittiness and just that hustle really helped you get there?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think, I think playing high school basketball, if you want to be good, you have to be tough. I think you have to be tough at every facet of life. Your football, family, career, you got to be, that toughness kind of carries over. And something, maybe you can get it, but I feel like it's something you are or you're not. Mm-hmm. And for me, I mean, I don't know about if it helped me making a few more baskets, but it got me on the floor for sure. Where maybe if, younger time in my career, if I didn't play that way, I wouldn't have been able to get on the floor, so I wouldn't have been able to get out there and get a handful of baskets as a sophomore or an underclassman. So yeah, I guess, if you put it all together, that probably factored into it for sure.
What kind of work did you guys put in, outside of practice? And like maybe just during the off season. I mean, did you guys? I don't know. Were AAU teams a thing in 2000s?
For me, not really. I mean, AAU was a thing, but it was really more for kind of the elite. Maybe guys that are maybe the top couple hundred kids in the country.
Wow.
Now every town's got a couple AAU teams and they play. So really it was just trying to find any court we could play on with our friends. We spent a lot of time down at the 3-on-3 courts downtown in Edinburgh.
Yep. Still
there really wasn't, the YMCA wasn't a thing when I played back then. So it was hard to find gyms. Wow. So we would play at friends' house and, like I said, a lot of times playing outside street ball, for me. And that was 25 years ago. It's changed a little bit where there's more access. Kids can play now, which is great. But back then it felt like more of a grind than it is today. I have a son in the program, and I tell him, the old man, the dad, talks like, oh, back when I was your age, we had to do this. And, but it is a little bit easier, which is good. And that's why I think kids now are so much better than kids were when I played. I look at his friends, he's in 8th grade and where he's at, they're so much better than I feel like we were when we were in 8th grade. It's kind of a different time. There's more access to training and facilities and trainers, but back when I played, it was more of kind of like a grind, figure it out yourself,
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I played baseball and football, so in the off season we were doing a lot of other sports stuff. But then in the summertime, we would go to open gyms and just show up and just balls to the walls. There was no ACs going in the gyms. We were just
There's still no ACs in the gym.
We would do, I think at Barron, we would go to a summer camp there. We were always the only team. Everyone had their jerseys, but we were the only team to go skins. It was always like that. Yeah. So we would, I would say that was most of our training because at least in my case, a lot of the guys I played with, like the Kolkas, Ponsolls, Schumann, a few other people, we all played other sports together. So it was a way to kind of form that camaraderie. And then, it translated over into all the sports. So
That's great. I mean, it's kind of cool to see how it's still like that today. Go to Barron, wear white shirts, no AC in the gym. It builds character. I mean, you probably go to McDowell, you're cool. You're used to it though, so it's fine.
Yeah.
How was what was the question again?
What was the training like?
Yeah, what was the training like for you?
Yeah, I feel like Mr. Meadows, he's talking like you're the guy. So what kind of work did you put in?
You'd be surprised. I mean, I always was looking to play. Like Casey said, we was always down at the courts. I did play AAU. I play AAU every year. I started playing AAU in like 7th grade. So I was always just trying to find a court to play. I didn't care who, older guys, younger guys. I was just trying to play. And like he said, I played football a little bit. I ended up quitting, but I think going into my junior year is kind of when I really started really training and taking it serious. Coach Brian, his dad as well. We'd always be while everybody's playing football, we'd be in the gym shooting 1,000 shots a day, foul shots, 3, just working on our game, lifting. But I was just trying to find a gym to play in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I played AAU, but not until later. So I was kind of in like that range where I didn't play it much in middle school, but high school I did. But I would say for like our class or like the grade that I graduated with, my going into senior year was like the first year we had like a lifting off-season program. It doesn't look like it now, but it made a huge difference. We just took like a really big jump from junior to senior year, and it started in probably like May of junior year, maybe even earlier. A lot of us kind of rallied around each other, and we would stay after school and lift all through the spring. Then we'd come in the summer, we'd go to 3-on-3, get Taco Bell afterwards. Probably not the best pre-lift, meal, but we go get Taco Bell, and then we'd all give each other rides back to the weight room, and then we'd lift for a couple hours. And I really think that not only gave us made us stronger, obviously physically, but it gave us like a confidence. How many other schools really have all 7, 8, 9 of their varsity kids like in a gym on a Tuesday, and it's 90 out and it's hot, but like we're all here together and we kind of push each other. And I think that gave us like psychologically more of a confidence than going into the next year where obviously physically it helped, but just kind of sticking together, doing Barron camp, doing lifting, doing those things together in the off season definitely helped us.
We talked about just being a family.
How do you guys think team chemistry really affects sports?
I'll say you guys you're in a really good opportunity right now as seniors, right? So, like, whether you realize it or not, those 8th graders, 9th graders, sophomores.
We're juniors.
Or juniors.
Yeah,
you guys are
juniors.
only
Yeah, we're
juniors.
juniors.
Wow. But even as an upperclassman, like,
Yeah,
they really
yeah.
look up to you. So, when you go to open gyms and when you have those things, like, that's where that team chemistry is built. Not so much in the season, but in the off season.
Yeah.
And I feel like this year, especially, I mean, with our team, I feel it a lot more. I feel like this year, I mean, we're going golfing Tuesday.
We're going golfing Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. We're going golfing, and we didn't really do anything like that last year. And I mean, last year obviously wasn't the best year for GM basketball, and I think one of the reasons because of that is because we really didn't have a lot of team chemistry. I mean, coach may not know, but I mean, there's the team wasn't really it wasn't apart. I mean, it was kind of divided up. There was some bickering in the locker room, and but I mean, it happens, and I feel like coming together as a team and doing the team dinners and going golfing or just showing up to open gyms or showing up to the camps can play a really big part in how good you play together. I mean, we were talking to Stauffer and Drew, and they were telling us they've played together all 15 years since kindergarten. Like they were just their families are friends, and they just all they did was eat, sleep, breathe basketball, football, sports together, and I think that definitely plays a big part in team sports.
How'd chemistry work with you guys with your teams?
We had a really good group. A lot of guys in my class had a lot of talented guys in my senior class, and I think we had senior night maybe 6 guys, which is a lot for one class. Who see it all the way through. But for me, the older guys back when I played, the guys that I looked up to, they kind of helped you out like the younger guys. I know, and as you get older, when you're seniors, it's going to be your guys' job to kind of like show the younger guys that you care, help them out. It's easy to be like, well, I'm never going to play with this kid. He's only a freshman or he's only in 10th grade. But, if you really care about your program and your team, you want to pass on the things that you've learned and help them out and make them feel like they're part of the team, but where maybe they're not going to be a big contributor to your team your senior year, but they will be in a couple years. And I think back when I played, that's what I thought about, the younger guys and the older guys that did it for me. And I think that's why we're able to have just an ongoing, success every year, year after year, good teams that would always compete for championships, So I think it's a lot of that responsibility falls on the older guys, and they might be guys that you never really hung out with, or maybe you're not going to hang out with, outside of school or outside of the locker room. But I think it's important to kind of, bring them up, and show them that you do care. You guys are part of the team. You're the next generation. So we had a really tight-knit group, and I think that really matters. You can have a lot of talent, and if you're not together, if you don't like the guys you're playing with, if there's, off the court issues and you don't talk in the locker room, I think it shows on the court. And I think a lot of times less talented teams can beat more talented teams if they play as a unit. And you can't play as a unit if, you're not there for your teammates.
Yeah.
It's a great way of putting it. Really great.
Yeah. What about for you guys? How was, your guys' team?
For me, I think it was unique because we had a bunch of brothers that it came through. So it was like there was a few Kolka brothers, there was a few Ponsoll brothers, Astrinas I played with, Drew's brother Matt, and we played together for so long, all the way back in the 3-on-3 courts, played all 3 sports together. So that was, we were on, it felt like a whole new level as far as camaraderie, being there for each other, having the people, our friends, all of our same friends come to the games. And then, for us, I always felt too, we had a good level of respect for everyone within our team, younger guys. And I think that spoke to just the volumes of the program overall, the way we were coached, obviously respect the people, your teammates within, and the community in general was just super special. And I think, we just took the time to battle with each other, have fun with each other outside of it, take it seriously. And yeah, just all those times playing with each other in the backyards, things like that, it goes a long ways. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of them. You know, like we were just always playing together. Like he said, I grew up with the Ponsolls, the Colcas, the Asturinos, obviously a bunch of other kids as well too. But it goes far. You guys need to be close as a group to be successful. You can't have half the team on one side and the other team on the other side. You're not going to win many games like that.
No.
So being as close as you guys can be is going to be important. Doing as much as you guys can together. Even if it's just, you know, like you guys are going to go golfing or go to the movies or any little things like that at dinner. It goes a long way for sure.
Yeah.
He started off.
Did he start?
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you a question though.
Yeah.
What so I guess you're the youngest in this group of guys here. How do you think your team thought, you know, because them winning the state championship wasn't that far before you. Do you guys think you felt kind of like a pressure of like, we have to uphold this GM, you know, like
I wouldn't even say it was so much a pressure to like win or lose, but definitely a pressure to continue like what they've already been talking about. So like that effort, the attitude, like your focus, definitely like the grittiness. I would say personally, I took a pride in like playing for GM and seeing how some of them in the front of 13 press flew around and dove on loose balls and stuff. Definitely felt a pressure to live up to that and make sure that was exemplified through how we played and passed on to the next one. The winning, it came along with it senior year a little bit. We didn't get to D10 championship like some of these guys here did, but our senior year we had a pretty decent team. And I think a combination of that work that we did in the off season, along with like that pride of carrying along kind of the grittiness, showed in like the wins. It wasn't so much that we were like fixated on winning. It just was a byproduct of taking care of the things we needed to take care of.
No, that's great. I've been curious as to everybody here's position they played and their impact, or not their impact, their role they had their senior year. I know you were a point guard. I could probably still tell you. Were you point guard or shooting guard?
Yeah, no, I could not shoot. I was a point guard. I was definitely like the show me like who the best guard is on the other team, and I wanted to face guard him and not let him touch the ball.
Yeah.
Front of 13 press would fly around. We had two really, really great scorers, Ryan Reagan and Alex J. They both went on to play collegiately. So my job was kind of just controlling the tempo, try to facilitate to them, not turn it over too much. You know, sometimes I would turn over a little bit, but definitely.
Coach is laughing.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. He was like, he would scream, "Nate, like, good job, get on the ball." And I'd dive, and then I'd go down and I'd turn it over, and I'd hear, "Nate, you just turned it over." So I was kind of sending them back and forth. But never in question was like my effort or my attitude. Like I definitely gave it 100% every time.
That's what the older coaches were really worried, like just really loved, was the effort that their kids put in. Yeah. That's what wins games. What was your position? Because you said you started out smaller.
Yeah, I always been a point guard.
Even to your senior year?
Yeah, always. Starting in 5th grade, I always just, not to be brag, I always just handled the ball better than a lot of the kids that we had. So, I played point guard from 5th grade all the way up. Kind of like Nate said, obviously control the tempo, be in charge of the offense and making sure we know where everyone's supposed to be at, what we're doing, and how we're going to execute. Had a little bit bigger scoring role.
He's being bashful. He can score when he wants.
I had a scoring role as well too. But like he said, always just playing hard and playing the right way.
That's great.
I was mainly a 2-guard, and then I would, if our point guard went out, I would go and help out with point guard. Yeah.
That's great.
I played on the wing, so I played mostly 3, some 2, shooting guard. My role on the team kind of changed as I got older, as everybody does. When I was in 10th grade, all I wanted to do was just do whatever I had to do to get on the floor. That meant just rebound, dive on the floor, guard the best player on the other team. I was a six-man my sophomore year. So I just wanted to get on the floor. So I wasn't thinking about scoring. As I got older, my role changed to I was counted on, to carry some of that scoring load, certainly as a senior. But just, for me, kind of a three-point shooter and a defensive stopper, and that was kind of my role in high school and on to college too. Kind of never really changed.
Yeah, no, it's great having, knowing your role. When I got in on varsity my sophomore year, my role wasn't to score exactly, it was to control the ball. And it's nice having tall people like Jacob just down there doing whatever they want. And I'm sure it was nice having, even though you're at the one, but it's nice to have your teammates to rely on. So I was kind of curious as to, we might not know everybody's teammates, but who was your guys' favorite teammates? Because we have our funny teammates that I just think it'd be cool to see what teammates were like, who you guys looked up to and who you really thought was funny and how that was.
For me, I like I said, my senior year we had four guys in my class, so 4 seniors it started. So it's hard to pick, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably go my point guard, Jim Peck. He's one of my buddies. We're still good friends, and he was a pass-first point guard, which playing on the wing, you love it.
Yeah.
He's driving in. He's not looking for shots. He could get his, but he's looking to, get you yours. He's the kind of guy, if it's a 2-on-0 break and he's got the ball, he's going to dump it off to you for the layup because he wants the assist. Tough kid, good defender, great shooter. But it's hard to pick, but if I had to pick one, probably have to be Jim Peck.
That's great. That's the answer. I just want to hear an answer like that. I'm glad you shared that.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, we had a bunch of seniors as well. There's a lot of guys that, we're just super fun to play with. A lot of just pure effort out there. One person that definitely particularly stands out would be Chad Kolka. He was just the ultimate hype man. We had chants going before the game. He would get everyone to surround him, and we would do our chants, get us hyped up, and it was he got us to another level. And that's what he was also. You wouldn't think that he would have been the center man for the presses, but he was actually the center man. Big wingspan, really intense, but. Yeah, no, he would get in your face for sure. So it was fun.
That's great.
Kind of like he said, I got along with a lot of people, but I'd probably say my favorite was probably Quinn Thompson, just because we was in the same class. We had about 4 or 5 seniors in our class as well too. I loved those guys as well too. But me and Quinn kind of just always was playing together, obviously grew up together, kind of was doing everything together back then. So I would say Quinn Thompson for sure.
I would say for me, our senior class, we had four of us, and definitely by my senior year, we were all pretty close. So it was cool. Alex J and Ryan Reagan were great scorers, both probably 1,000-point scorers. Jackson White was a really close friend of mine. He was off the bench, and he was somebody who him and Isaiah's brother, Jaymon's brother, Isaiah. So Jackson and Isaiah, they both kind of through middle school, either didn't start in middle school or got limited playing time, but stuck with it and continued to go. And by senior year, Isaiah was like the 2 guard with me, and he was a shooter. So it was nice. I would just drive, kick it to him, and he was always hyped up and ready to go. And then Jackson White, he was another player all through middle school, 9th grade JV, didn't really see a ton of playing time. JV, or his junior year, he was on JV, and then senior year, he played a pretty significant role coming off the bench. But his attitude was always great, and it was really cool having a senior like him that wasn't playing a ton, but was a leader on the bench and had everybody on the bench ready to go. So those two were really fun to play with too.
I think it's great that you guys are still all close with your teammates. I think that's just where the love of the game comes from, being able to play with your friends. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's cool too, because even if you don't see each other, when you do see each other, just you go right back to where you were at.
No awkwardness.
A lot of those guys too are just truly my best friends from that era. Another couple of guys playing with my buddy Kyle Schumann. It was like this 1-2 punch type of deal where if I wasn't scoring, he was scoring. But you get on these levels with guys where you I'm sure you guys see it within your basketball career, but you get on levels of what you know, the tendencies of what these people are going to do, where they're going to be. Kind of, you don't even have to look at them to know what's going on. So that was really cool. And then, you know, outside of basketball, still be best friends with them. You know, it means a lot. So,
What do you guys think your favorite memory is from GM basketball? Whoever wants to start.
I don't know if anybody was in here for the last podcast or the last thing we had, but we talked about Danny Jukes. Dane Jukes. I was hoping somebody had a story like that because that cracked us
This was
up.
funny. What was it? Coach went up and what game was it? Was it an important game?
It was prep.
Oh yeah, so they were playing prep and he was sleeping. So they took the bus to his house and they
Get up.
yeah, they got him
They
up.
were
which is
in the
hilarious.
room for that.
Were you guys all in here?
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah.
Oh,
So what,
I don't know why
what's
I'm
the
repeating it.
I forgot. So what's one of your guys' memories that ring a bell?
For me, you know, so I never won a district title. We had some great teams. In probably my 3 years playing, we probably lost 12 games total.
Wow.
My best team was our junior year. We had one loss going into the playoffs, and that was to the Quad A state runner-up. We played them in the regular season. That was back when there was only 4 classes. And then we ended up getting to the Western quarterfinals, and we lost to a team that ended up winning the state championship. They had 2 guys that played major D1 college basketball, so they were tough, and we played them tough. But for me, probably my best memories were playing in Macomb Fieldhouse under what felt like a home crowd, even though it was at a neutral site. And like Jaymon was saying, literally packed, you know, you couldn't fit another person in there. You know, never played in crowds like that again. You know, I played 4 years after high school, but never played in an environment like that. Just those kind of environments. For a high school kid, I think it's pretty special to
That does sound
get to
very
experience
special.
that.
Yeah.
yeah, I have a few for sure. I think playing with the guys that I was seniors with, Schumann, Casey Ponsoll, Mike McLean, he was in there, Kevin Kolka, I might be missing one or two, but being with them for so long, playing with them, I'll never forget it, just being around those guys in the locker room, being such good friends with them, and then also having our good friends be there for just the games overall, being the super fans, and I'll say they're all-time super fans too. Like the stands were, it was so much fun to look over, and that spewed over into other sports too. That was definitely top tier. You know, winning some close games. I remember being down in Moon in one of the state playoff games. I hit a shot that I was like falling backwards, got an and one. It was like a huge shot to make. I'm just, you know, it was the best feeling because we had our fans came down too. We were down in Pittsburgh. I think it was North Allegheny, so that was a good one. And then I have one story I'll share about Andy Shulz. That I was a junior, and we were going through kind of like an up and down season, kind of on the cusp of being good and like turning it over. I just remember I was the 2 guard. Kellen O'Neill was our point guard, and we're having a rough practice, and Kellen got, you know, a little upset. All of a sudden, he just grabs the ball, throws it to the other end of the court, and we're all just like standing there looking at each other like, okay. And then I just jog over. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get the ball, I guess. I go over, jog over, kind of come back with it just casually. Then all of a sudden I hear from Andy, he's like, how about a little hustle, Nick? Like, it was just the most classic thing that he could have said in that moment. And that's definitely one story I will never forget from my basketball experience. And then after that, you know, we went through all the ups and downs, we actually tore it up the rest of the season, lost to Hampton in the second round of the state playoffs, and we were big underdogs, barely lost in that game, but yeah, just name a few. Those definitely stick out.
I think it's
awesome.
great that memories like that just stick with you for the rest of your life. Like he vividly remembered his shot that he made. Like sure, you'll remember a couple shots that you made too, but like I think that's just great. How small things like that.
I got some good stories about Andy Shulz, but I probably can't say.
That's what everybody's been saying. A lot of people said that.
Besides, you know, playing with your friends and all the different environments you get to play in, I'll definitely say one was my junior year when we went undefeated. Great group of guys. Coach might even tell you we weren't the most talented team, but we just that GM way of playing hard, gritty, just find ways to get wins. So that was definitely one of my favorite years, and also just winning 2 D10 titles, going back to back. It's with us forever. Nobody can take that. So definitely those 2 for sure.
I would say for me, there's 2 that kind of stick out. One was my junior year, and we were really up and down my junior year, but we had played prep at Gannon's gym, and wasn't really anybody there. Nobody thought we were going to beat them at all, and it went into overtime, and we ended up winning, and that was a huge kind of confidence boost that carried over into our senior year. And then my senior year, we had played at McDowell, and I think I mentioned it earlier, but they renovated the gym, they sold it out, made a huge deal about it. Definitely thought they were just going to walk over us. It was their first home game, and we went in and we played a really, really good game. Nobody really stuck out, but everybody as a team played. We had some starters in foul trouble. People came off the bench, and it was seamless.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole game, we just kind of knew we were going to win, and kind of went back to that confidence we had built the summer before. It was really cool seeing things kind of come together, and beat McDowell at their home opener. So that was a really fun one. And then this is a little different, but now being back as Mr. Weibel kind of 8th grade coaching, there was a game that we coached, and I coached with my brother Seth. So Seth played a few years younger than me. He was a great point guard, but now he coaches with me. And we had a game this season, and I had a baby the day of the game, so I couldn't go, but it was really cool seeing me not be there and my brother be able to step up and take over and coach. And then you kind of see the tradition gets passed on. I put a lot of work into Seth and helping him. And now he, when I can't be there, is able to be there for this 8th grade group. And you kind of see the tradition continues to get passed on. So that wasn't by any means a big game. It was an 8th grade playoff game. But it's really
meant
cool.
a lot.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that what you're sowing into, there is fruit coming out of it. It is beneficial. So
and just going off of that, I mean, we've had old Coach Shulz tell us that when he's playing, he has the weight of every player on his shoulders, and Coach Shulz reminds us constantly that when we put on our General McLean uniform, it's not just
we're not just
playing,
representing us.
We're playing for everybody.
We're playing for you
it's
guys.
I think it's great to finally meet and just talk to who we're playing for, and because I don't know, I just think it's a great thing.
Yeah, I think, just GM basketball in general, it's just, I think, not even to be biased, but I just think we have something that, most schools don't. And I think just GM basketball in general is really special. So, but I know we want to get you on here a little bit, so I don't know who wants to sub off. But
tap me out.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were supposed to leave.
Yeah, no, it's good. I text my teacher as well.
All right, cool.
Okay. That's
Hey, it was awesome having you on.
No problem.
I gotta hop out too.
You got to hop on.
All right,
That's fine.
sounds good.
He was your coach, obviously, right? Hey, great seeing you. Thank you, Coach. Great meeting you. Thank you.
Good seeing you, bro. Not bad, bro. Good seeing you. Good seeing you.
Thanks, Case.
Coach, see you later.
See you later.
Oh.
I say we just talk a little bit about, how they've had experience with a coach, and
Yeah, you want to ask them anything? I mean, what do you think?
let's let Coach talk to him for a little bit.
What are some memories with these guys? Because he coached you a little bit, right?
Yeah, so I was his first JV team.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were just talking about it out there. My first JV team, Nick, we had a really good team. He reminded me that we lost one game and brought a flood of bad memories back about that game. But Nick was a great player, and he was someone who was very steady. We would rely on him to not just handle the ball, but he scored too. And he, especially by his senior year, he really brought us as kind of our leader to a point where I thought, I didn't think that team could get to. I mean, we were in the playoffs playing pretty good teams. So Nick was fabulous. But I do remember one thing about Nick, and he might not remember this. We played at Warren, and we don't play there anymore, but that's the worst drive in the world.
Terrible.
And
Yeah.
I mean, Jaymon knows, and we had a big win there his senior year too. And I remember I'm the assistant at that time, and you're the assistant. You're kind of the sounding board for the head coach, and the head coach was my dad. So I'd have to go home and hear it all day and then all night. And so I kind of took the brunt of it. But we're going to Warren, and it's a big game. And my dad was very worried. Are we going to be ready to play, or are we going to be mentally focused like it's a long ride and snowstorm? And so I kept almost like, we'll be fine. We got a good team. Nick will be fine. Luke will be fine, whatever. So we get off the bus, and it's like probably a 2 hour to drive. And I look, and Nick is, honest to God, literally like sleeping, pulling his bag behind him, getting off the bus. And I was like doing my best to shield my dad from looking back at the team so we wouldn't see him. And we actually won the game, and Nick played a great game. But he was just one of those people who you could almost say, is he alive? And then he'd get on the court and flick it, and he'd be ready to go. So I have good memories about Nick.
Yeah. I was always underestimated. People didn't think I was, in the game, this and that. And then all of a sudden, I hit a big shot or go on a little run, and it just would surprise them. I'm like, all right, that's all right. Keep underestimating. I'll just keep showing up.
Yeah. For you, were you always like, because I know you played ninth grade, was there moving up back? Were kids moved up?
It wasn't as common back then. I think Jaymon moved up.
You to piggyback it, just starting literally in like sixth grade, I went up to seventh.
Oh, so yeah.
So like I played with my class in fifth grade, and then I'd never play with my class again until my senior year.
Wow, that's
yeah. So he would always, but that would be rare. That would be maybe once in a while, because
a lot of those.
It's kind of how Jack Ponsoll is right now.
Yeah, it's like you can kind of see, well, this person could move up, and I think a lot of that has changed because not a lot of other schools have ninth grade teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you really try to maximize the playing time for all the kids that you have, but that'd be a rare case. Like Jaymon moved up, but anymore, you maybe handpick 2 or 3 kids that you think can play JV and stuff as ninth grade. But I have good memories of Jaymon too. You talk about someone who's maybe the best player ever here in terms of just a pure player. And I've seen him play a lot of games, both college and high school. And he was the same sort of way. He would not be someone who was very vocal. He would not be someone who would be very boastful. He would never talk about himself. And kind of another story having to do with the snow. We played at Gann, remember your senior year against Vincent?
Yeah.
And it was just a straight snowstorm. And it was kind of like all day, are we even going to play this game? But they were very good. Mm-hmm. And this was like the old Erie. So we were like, are we even going to play this game? And their coach was a good friend of ours, but they definitely wanted to play because they felt like they were going to beat us and there would be a win. And we were not saying we didn't want to play, but we're like, it's a snowstorm,
Yeah.
So it's up to the home team, and they said, no, let's still play. So we drive, and it took like an hour to get to Erie.
It took forever.
Oh,
yeah. And we were stopping by the mall, and the bus driver's knocking stuff off the windows, and so we get there, and I don't know how many he had. He had 40, whatever it was, and just they were double, triple teaming him, and it didn't matter. And we won the game, and I remember like at the end, my dad was saying, I bet they wish they didn't play now. So just little memories like that, always come in your mind.
Yeah, he wasn't even going to say anything about his scoring. Like we asked him,
you said someone's a 1,000-point scorer. He has 1,500 points. He's he's an Edinburgh all-time leading scorer.
Yeah.
In Edinburgh.
No.
He wouldn't even told you. Yeah.
Way.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is great.
Wow. What's your highest scoring game?
In what? High school?
Both.
Both. Yeah, both.
High school was against McDowell here. I had 43.
My goodness.
And crazy, I hurt my ankle that game too. In the first half.
Curtis,
I had to come out. They took me out. Like, there was like a couple minutes left in this, the first half. I'm like, I got to get this taped up. Like, I got to play. My ankle's like fat as ever. Come back in the game. Well, I didn't really score that much in the first half either. It was a close game going, back and forth. Ended up having like 30 in the second half.
That is crazy.
So that, and then college, I had college, my highest was like 40.
Wow. At the college level too.
Collegiate level is crazy.
Did you ever get, so I'm guessing, Edinburgh, did you get full ride?
Yeah.
Did you have any D1 offers?
I had a D1 school looking at me at the time. Obviously, I had a bunch of, D2 schools and stuff around here.
Yeah.
I went to a couple D1, little visits and little things like that. But at that time, things were just different then.
transfer stuff's not.
It's
a thing
just
back
it's
then.
just different, and I never in the schools. It was in like Florida. You know, I never been away from home like that.
Yeah.
So you know, things are just different. And at that time, like obviously I knew I was a good player, but I didn't know if I was that good. You know what I mean? So I ended up obviously staying here. But looking back, I kind of wish I would have just took that chance at least for a year. But everything happens for a reason.
I mean, given today's circumstances, if he went to Edinburgh and he did that well, transfer portal was a thing back then. He definitely could have.
Yeah, it's so different now.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, you see Jaymon now, and he's a grown man. When he was 18, he was pretty skinny, and he was.
I was
you
like,
know,
you literally like,
yeah, he was.
like you.
He looked like
There's
you
hope.
guys. So.
That's what he's saying. There's
Yeah.
hope. Wait, did you get 1,500 points your senior year, or like was that between
Yeah,
just
just
throughout.
averaging 40 a game?
Man, that's what was your best game?
Best game. I think it was we were at Quarry. I had 30 that game.
Jeez,
I happened to make like all the 3-pointers I took, and I wasn't mainly known for 3-point
Yeah.
shooting, but it was just like one of those days. I think Casey Ponsoll, same game. We both just had like 5 or 6 3-pointers each.
Man, was it a close game or was it a blowout?
No, it was a blowout.
If they both had, I'm sure.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't.
No, we blew them out, and then I don't know. Just overall, I mean, there was a couple games in the state playoff. Me and Kyle Schumann had a really good run. Our first 2 state playoff games, where we beat Moon, and we both of us pretty much had 20 and 20.
Wow, that's great.
And Schumann was really good on the boards, and like I was saying earlier, with like that communication and the tendencies, kind of just getting to know each other. And then the second game that we lost to Hampton, it was the same type of deal. Like both of us, right around 20 points each. So those 2 definitely stick out for sure.
So, how do you think you became such a dominant player? Like, was it, do you just think the work you were putting outside, or did you kind of just come easy to you, or?
I mean, I knew I was talented. Kind of like I said earlier too. I never really. I was like I said, we was always just playing at the park and stuff. Like I never really just did like private training sessions or anything like that. Like a lot of people do nowadays. They got their trainers and all that type of stuff. Like I said, when I was going to my junior year, when I quit football, that's kind of really where it kind of started. They got me in the gym, a couple other guys that weren't playing football, just was getting shots up and shots and getting in the weight room. And then, that helped me obviously get to college. And then obviously college, college is different. It's a year-long job in the gym constantly. We have the season, preseason, and after the season, I take a couple weeks off, probably 2-3 weeks, and then we'd be right back in the gym all spring, summer, getting ready for the next season. So, like I said, I didn't really take it serious till I got a little bit older. I just never really understood it, and like things were just different. Things was just different back then. So.
Like for example, I mean, I remember when we would shoot all those shots. I remember we'd have that sheet and you'd 1,000 a day, because we'd have open gym and we wouldn't. I think going into your senior year, junior and senior year, we didn't have 10 guys to play. So like we do now, we'll go after school and we'll have 15 guys. But back then, a lot of the kids played football or did something else in the fall. So we would more or less just work individually. So we would take 1,000 shots a day and track them and then lift after. And just, I think that personal accountability, that was big. And that was something that, I mean, as a player, you can rely on your teammates and all that, but you still have to take accountability for yourself too. And Jaymon really did.
We talk about kind of how nowadays, basketball is a lot different with, different AU teams, different training programs, better options for recovery. If you guys, put yourselves in your prime for basketball. If you were to play in today's high school game, I don't know, against like a pretty good team, how do you think you'd play?
Well, definitely playing well.
I just
confident
feel like
in that aspect. Definitely doing well, putting up some points for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just feel like not old players, but older players like him, and then we play with Mr. Jan and Shulz. They just know the game a lot better. So I feel like if playing around with high schoolers, I feel like, oh wait, no, this is in their prime.
This is
not
in
right
their
now.
this is their high school prime.
The game's so different
I think
now.
they would. I think they would.
What do you?
It's much
So
different.
physical. I feel like they'd be so much more physical.
I would dominate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
35
like
a game at least.
it's just so different now.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more? Do you think it's more like? You think you dominate just because of like effort, physicality, and like stuff like that, and like yeah.
The skill is way better. Like across the board, we'll go to Northeast or Corey or Harbor Creek, and for these guys, they view some of those teams as being not very good, or like, oh, we would roll over Fort LaBeouf, but the skill level for a lot of the kids is way higher, but the physicality is way lower. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just a way different game, and in order to win, like taking a 3-pointer when these guys played, that would be, I mean, we would shoot them, but we wouldn't shoot them in the numbers that we would now.
Yeah.
And it's just a different way to play and different way to win and defend the other team too. So these guys would dominate, and that's just because I think their style of play.
Yeah.
To piggyback, like kind of like back then was way more physical than it is now. People were holding you, grabbing you, tugging jerseys, and now it's just softer, a little bit softer now.
Yeah.
And back then I already went to the free throw line a bunch. Now I would have probably just at least got 25, 30 just off a foul shot, and another 30 just off scoring.
Yeah.
So
do you?
It's just different.
Do you? Well, what sucks about that too is I feel like it's not even that. It's like kids nowadays aren't even trying to do that. It's the fact that too, like refs, they call everything nowadays. Like you can't even. I can barely put my hand on somebody's waist without getting like a reach in.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you reach, but I mean...
Well, obviously, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, yeah, I remember I got like 4 fouls in a quarter.
You were just able to get away with a little bit more.
Yeah.
Back when we played, and not dirtiness, but, just a little chippiness.
Yeah.
And
Lots of smack talk.
Yeah, you can't
Lots
do
of
that.
smack
You
talk.
get technical.
It was an art, man.
Jackson said that first.
So it's just different. It's
I
just
think
different now.
I think one of the things that our team kind of struggles with a little bit is these guys are in a tough spot because we're the last few years we've been forced to be like in the league with or Prep and McDowell, Erie, and they officiate and play those games way different than they do when you play Northwestern. So we have to kind of have 2 different styles of play, and that is tough for these guys. Not only the depth of the bigger schools and like the physicality and all that, then you have to adapt to your style of play. And we focus on playing up tempo and pressing the other team. And that's all well and good until you are playing 5 really, really good players from Prep. And so it's just different. And these guys have to adapt to kind of 2 different levels of play.
I'm really, like, throughout the whole day, it's just astonished me how different levels of playing was.
Yeah.
Now, and I think.
I mean, I feel like even just between you guys, I mean, I'm sure it was even a little different for, your guys' eras of playing. I don't really know. What do you got?
I've spent like the past couple hours just listening to everybody, and I didn't even talk that much, and I'm just kind of grateful, honestly.
Yeah, these guys were nervous about, what do we ask? And we don't know these guys. And I said, trust me, put a microphone in front of all these guys, and they'll take care of it.
Worked so smooth. Everybody was talking.
Yeah.
I was so relieved when I came in here. You guys were all in here. They were all just talking about stuff already. I'm like
that'll be like you guys someday.
Yeah, it will be.
And I was saying earlier when we were talking about the D10 games, my senior year when we played Girard, like he even tell you we rarely would lose a Girard. Rarely lose a Girard. And then senior year, they played a triangle and 2 on us, something we weren't really prepared for. Kind of threw us off. It was like here or something. I think the first game was here. Then we lost. Like we went down there, prepared for it a little bit. They still got it.
Yep.
So to get that revenge in that D10 game was everything, because all we prepared for really was that triangle.
Yeah, and I told Lucas I'd give him a shout, and Clay. They both wanted to be here, they couldn't. And I said they made 2 big shots in that first half that kind of took them out of it.
Yep.
And their game plan, which was the right thing to do, is to try to cheat Jaymon out. But it's a team game, and we needed other guys to step up.
So, I mean, how do you guys? What's something that we kind of asked everybody this today, and Coach already answered this. But if you were to talk to kids nowadays, just like what would you tell them about basketball? Like how would you, I mean, you being such a dominant player, you're just as dominant. It's like you guys are. It's just like a different game. I feel like what would you tell kids nowadays that are playing that if they want to be like you guys?
Well, for just off, cherish the moments. Don't take it for granted, first of all. But always listen. Always be a listener. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. You're not going to know everything. So definitely listen to your coaches. Obviously, you'll probably have some little back and forth, whatever the case may be, but always be a listener. It'll take you a long way for sure. And then just find the time to put that extra work in. Whether it's shooting 50 foul shots or 100 threes or even just doing some push-ups at home or something. Just trying to find little ways to get better and just help yourself in the future.
Yeah, and I would just to feed off of him, I think, enjoy it. It's so much fun playing with like some of your best friends. I think just be open to learning, honestly making a ton of mistakes, because that's the only way you're going to learn fast. Is get in there, screw up, miss shots, do all that. And then, I think to make sure you're listening to your coaches, but at the same time kind of thinking on your own. Like if there's something that comes up and you're not quite sure what he means, or you might have your different twist to it, don't be afraid to speak up and actually do something like that. But at the same sense, be disciplined in the fact of doing the right things, following the game plans, not take for granted that you have coaches like Brian and his dad before, but especially Brian. I mean, guys that are so sold into the program that you have, they are there for basketball, General McLean basketball, and not taking that for granted as well. Because like I remember his game plans drawn up. I don't know, he probably still does them now, but it was like pages, paragraphs,
literally
profiles of the players.
Like so weird. I'll see a kid, like a random person around town, or like an area or whatever, and I'll be like, you played for Northeast in 2009, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah, right. And it's like in my mind. So, yeah, that's right. And these guys listened, and I'm not saying I know everything. I'm not saying Coach Stauffer knows everything. But, we've been around a long time, and we've seen these guys play. We've seen their teammates play, and we've been in environments too. So it's important to be a good team. It's important to be good listeners, and it's just important to put all your effort into it too.
Mm-hmm. I think just to cap it off, I think we're really grateful for today. Just seeing everybody, and I think me and Preston definitely learned a lot more about GM basketball, and I hope everybody listening learned more about GM basketball.
Yeah, I just think I feel like we have a lot to say just to the team now.
Yeah.
I feel like last year what we really struggled with is I talked to certain players. I'm not going to name names, but I talked to certain players. I was talking to somebody the other day in the hallway, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you excited for basketball this year?" And no, we suck. And I'm just like, we have to. You got to find that,
Yeah.
I think
after this.
Yeah, and I think it's just like over the years, it's just been kind of lost. But I think even just having you guys on has given us that new mentality of GM basketball is more than what we think. So
I think it's great. We look in that book and your guys, all these people's names are in it, and we got to see all of you, and I'm just we're just really, really grateful for you guys coming on.
And there's a lot of people who, I've been trying last week to reach out to people. There's a lot of people who are really mad that they couldn't be here. Yeah. And I think that list would be 10 times what the people that showed up. But I really appreciate, these people have jobs or they have families, and they took the time. That's how important it is for them to talk to you guys and our team, and they want to make sure that their message about General McLean basketball is really heard.
Yeah, well, I want to just thank, of course, all of you guys, people that came on earlier. Just thank you all for this time you gave us. Thank the GM Foundation, obviously.
Yeah.
Probably biggest thank you is probably to Coach Shulz. I don't think we'd be able to contact anybody.
No.
We were like, oh, when we're doing this, Coach I got 20 people lined up.
I was like,
I'm like,
all right, here we go.
And I'm just grateful that you found all these people and gave us this experience. And
no, I definitely do. And even just going into the season now, I feel like one, we have something to prove, but
playing for
kind of what old coach Schultz says. Just I think we feel it on our shoulders. There's just there's so many people that have had so many great experiences here with GM basketball, and I think it's just we don't let you guys down. I think we're here to carry on that legacy of.
And me personally, I feel like I'm gonna try to come around more. Definitely games. I feel like I haven't been that present definitely. I've had things. I've had my life going on.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
the case may be, but definitely gonna try to be a little bit more present, come to some of y'all games if I can.
That's great.
I remember even playing basketball and seeing the old people in the stands or the old players, and like it would motivate me to play harder, and it would
means a
say,
lot.
man, this is important to them, or this is an important program, an important game, and I think this is good for you guys to hear and see these guys like in person.
Yeah.
The people that maybe we talk about in practice or mention, and you say, who the heck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's like
you can kind of sing it. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, again, just thank you guys for coming on, and anyone watching, we hope you enjoyed this little series of the Alumni GM basketball, and anyone else that was on today, if you guys are watching, we really appreciate you guys coming out too, and anyone that couldn't make it who might be watching, we wish you guys were here, and yeah, we really appreciate you guys, and we're grateful.
Yeah, I just want to do a quick thank you too for you guys putting this together. I think it's really like what they were just saying. There's so much tradition in General McLean basketball, and for you guys to put this on, I think it puts a whole new perspective on things. And like he's saying, being maybe more present in the program, coming back, I think it's a great, what you guys did here we're extremely grateful for
Yeah.
it. So thank you.
Maybe we'll do something else eventually.
Yeah.
Another alumni thing. Put something
Maybe
together.
we'll be on this
Definitely.
20 years from now.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I might be in the ground. but-
Like,
All right,
like
well-
he said, definitely appreciate y'all having us.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
This is great fun. Even being back in the school is a little bit weird, but it's good to kind of be back and kind of roaming the same hallways.
Yeah.
I forgot where the library was.
Bro,
You never knew where it was anyway.
Someone popped out of a classroom. I was like, "Where's the library?" I don't know.
but yeah, definitely appreciate y'all. And like I said, I try to be around a little bit more and present. And
That means a lot, though.
good luck this season as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good luck
Awesome.
for sure.
And again, thank you to the foundation for making this all possible and giving us all this equipment to be able to even have you guys on. And yeah, I guess
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thank
Yep.
you, guys.
Appreciate it.